Hello and welcome to Woke Watch. Now I know I'm a little late to the party, but today I'll be discussing the topic which apparently if you have a YouTube channel, it is almost compulsory that you record a video about it. Elon Musk buying Twitter, and how in doing so he has triggered every woke person on the fucking planet. I'm not really sure where I stand when it comes to the world's richest man, because the amount of money Mr. Musk has got is obscene. No one needs to be that rich. In fact, the way that many economies have been battered by the pandemic, Elon is richer than most countries. He also owns Tesla, and I'm not convinced that electric cars are the future. I think they're a short-sighted and short-term fix to a long-term problem. But then he also owns SpaceX, which is the coolest company on, or indeed off, Earth. The first time I saw footage of a Falcon rocket landing itself, I thought it must be CGI. This must be what SpaceX are aiming to do in the next 10 to 20 years. But then when I realised it was a video, I was blown away. SpaceX, under the command of Elon Musk, have taken science fiction and made it reality. Also, let's be blunt, he's a bit of an oddball. The world's richest man, but it looks like he cuts his own hair. He doesn't even own a house. I've got one of them. And to me, I think he'd make quite a good Bond villain. An eccentric millionaire with a strange name who owns a fleet of spacecraft. That's the plot to Moonraker, and now Roger Moore's dead, we're all fucked. And although I don't agree with a lot of what Elon says, in a recent interview he was asked why he thinks Netflix are losing so many customers. And his reply was that Netflix suffers from a woke mind virus that makes its programmes unwatchable. That's fucking spot on. Now, I'm a Netflix customer, but I mostly use it for stand-up comedy and documentaries about murderers. But it is hard to find a series on Netflix that isn't woke as fuck. Recently, Mrs. Disgruntled was watching a series in the living room. I walked in, I hadn't seen anything, and said, which of the kids is trans? And she went, that one. Because it's Netflix, there's always a trans kid. And there's nothing wrong with it. But it's not reflective of society, in the same way that in a Netflix series, a group of friends will have every conceivable race. Half of them will be gay, and one will be in a wheelchair. The world doesn't look like that. So then, Mr. Musk arranged to buy Twitter for $44 billion of his own money, which the rest of us can use for free. And people on the woke far left started losing their fucking minds. And a few days ago, Elon posted this meme, which is spot on. I was actually discussing something like this a couple of weeks ago. The way which politics has changed, because I've always considered myself a centrist. But the far left has gone so far to the left that I'm now viewed as far right. It's utter bullshit. There's a clip that went viral from an American TV show called The View. I'm not familiar with it. It looks like Loose Women for People in the New World. And on it, the presenter said that Elon Musk has bought Twitter for straight white men. Now, whenever someone on the left starts talking about straight white men, they'll normally throw in cisgendered as well. It means they have no argument. They can't come up with a valid point, so they just scream straight white men. So I went online to see who are the most followed people on Twitter. And the top three are Barack Obama, Justin Bieber, and Katy Perry. So only one of them is a straight white man. That's Justin Bieber, so I'm really fucking stretching it to get him in there. In fact, the top 10 most followed people on Twitter, only 3 of them are white men, straight or otherwise. Elon Musk said he was buying Twitter to protect free speech, and that's a problem for woke people, because they'll claim they want to protect free speech, but they only want the freedom of speech for people who agree with them. They don't want freedom of speech, they want fucking echo chambers. Overly woke members of the LGBTQIA+ community are also up in arms, because Elon once tweeted, "Pronouns suck." Now I have to agree with him on that, because as I've said many times, my pronouns would be he, him, but if I'm talking to someone, I'd hope they'd use my name. And can someone explain to me how I identify as is any different to I pretend to be? A very screamy transgender website wrote that Musk had posted a meme which makes fun of the war in Ukraine, people of colour and the trans community. Here it is, and it reads, Netflix waiting for the war to end to make a movie about a black Ukrainian guy falling in love with a transgender Russian soldier. That's not mocking the war or those communities. It's taking the piss out of Netflix, as I did just a few moments ago. Other woke protesters were saying Twitter is now unsafe because of the lack of censorship. Twitter is not an unsafe place. Because it isn't a fucking place. You can't get in a minicab and say, can you take me to Twitter? Drop me anywhere on the high street. And people shouldn't be bullied or threatened online. But go to your Twitter app, go into the settings, and you can control what Twitter will show you and where your own tweets will be shown. But woke people don't think to do that. They're too busy fucking crying. And although this is Woke Watch, it's not just the woke people acting like half-wits. Over on the far right, we've got all the Trumpanzees, and I don't mean people who voted for Trump. Those special people who voted for Trump with their Confederate flags and their MAGA hats going, the election was stolen. They're excited that Trump's going to be back on Twitter. And maybe he should be. Except Donald Trump has already said he doesn't want to go back on Twitter, even though what Trump says and does are two very different things. To be honest, for me, it would be a damn sight easier. Because back when he was president, if I was short of material, I'd just go on Twitter and see what the leader of the free world had said in the last 5 minutes. Then there are the countless woke celebrities and pointless verified blue tick marks saying, well, Elon Musk has bought Twitter, so I'm leaving. And I think most of us are thinking, well, go on, fuck off then. But a week later, they've reactivated their accounts, saying, see, I left. It's like, no, you didn't leave, you popped out for a bit. Then there are others who say they can't be on Twitter if it's owned by Elon Musk, so follow them on TikTok and Instagram. TikTok sells your information to the Chinese government, and if you're worried about Elon Musk controlling a social media platform, Instagram is owned by Mark fucking Zuckerberg. And what's my overall opinion on the owner of SpaceX buying Twitter? Well, I've been more active on Twitter in the last 2 weeks than I have been in the previous 5 years. And for anyone who has a problem with it, let me put it this way. Elon Musk is an American citizen, but he was born in South Africa. Why do you have a problem with an African American owning a company, you racist pricks? As ever, thanks for watching. So when it comes, shut your fucking dog up, comes to the... Ironically, the people objecting to Musk buying Twitter because they think it will lead to disinformation are people who drive Teslas and think men can get pregnant. Countless woke fuck it. I think it's fair to say Elon is a bit of an oddball. Except he's rich, so he's eccentric. The best solution would... fuck it. I can hear a quad bike approaching. The noise that heralds the arrival of a moron. So in conclusion, you ponty twat. So, what? Oh good, the dog's back. Fuck this.